A stunningly fast end of an era for public media. After nearly 60 years, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting has voted to dissolve itself, forced to take the drastic measure after the Republican-held Congress voted to defund it at the behest of Donald Trump. The private agency has steered federal funding to PBS, NPR, and hundreds of public television and radio stations across the country.
Yeah, throw them out. Throw them out into the cold. Don't give them their coat. No coats.
The NPR and PBS components this is, in our view, the misuse of taxpayer dollars. They're biased reporting. They're not objective.
Is Bert feeling sad today?
Sad?
Yeah.
Sad? No, I am not sad. I am angry, Elmo. I am angry.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about the Public Broadcasting Service finding out, because a couple days ago, I actually missed this story. I don't know how I missed this, but PBS is being shut down. So you could argue in terms of what that means. Whatever capacity they were operating at before, we know one thing, they're not operating at it anymore. So President Trump worked with the Republicans to defund this woke organization, this operative that was effectively operating as a political arm of the radical left, using your taxpayer dollars to do it. They love to steal your money and use it to propagandize people against you and your values. And President Trump was not having that. Now, I'm sure that they would love to hold out until maybe they could win, the Democrats can win the midterms or something, or, maybe get a Democrat president in there possibly in the future so they could try to reverse the situation. But by then the damage might already be done. From my understanding, this place is still operating in a capacity equivalent to that of Blockbuster Video. Was that, you didn't know Blockbuster was still around? Well, yeah, I mean, technically they still have a website. I mean, they probably got some employee somewhere that technically works for Blockbuster, but they don't operate anymore. And that's kind of how PBS is operating now. They're on the freaking graveyard crew, okay? They're working on a skeleton crew that they really don't have anybody left. I'm going to go ahead and react to this video here where I think they discuss this in greater detail. I haven't actually watched this clip, so we're about to find out together. By the way, guys, there's a new feature on YouTube where you can hype videos. So be sure to like the video, hype the video. It helps out a lot. Appreciate you.
We want to note a change for us here at PBS News.
Due to federal budget cuts, we've had to make the difficult decision to rework our staffing and programming.
Good.
And this Sunday, our PBS News Weekend team will sign off the air. PBS News Weekend anchor John Yang is here with us now. And John, we're going to miss you so much. Thank you doesn't even begin to cover it. You and the team have done incredible storytelling and covered major breaking news every weekend.
That's right, weekend.
What's hilarious is if they did such a great job, then President Trump probably wouldn't want him to shut down, but they obviously didn't do a good job. You must have did a bad job.
After weekend, you and the team brought such rigor and heart and care to the stories that you covered. You will be deeply missed, and we are deeply grateful for all of your work.
Jeff, thank you very much. And Jeff, you know what this is like. You sat in the chair I occupy now, the founding anchor of this program. This has been a lot of news on weekends. I can think back to the October 7th attacks in Israel, the first assassination attempt on President Trump, President Biden dropping out of the presidential race. And this is, as I like to call it, the small but mighty team that handled...
Did you guys cover Sleepy Joe's cognitive decline and how it was incredibly obvious and how nobody else was talking about it and how that was a bad thing? Or, were you one of the woke organizations that tried to cover up for the radical left Democrats? I think we know the answer to that.
This handled all these stories week in and week out. We're proud of the creativity, the dedication they brought to each and every segment, week in and week out. I'll be leaving PBS News at the end of the month as I step back from full-time work, but I'm delighted to say that many members of this team will be sticking around. They'll be producing some exciting new programming that you'll be seeing in the coming days and coming weeks, and so we thank them and look forward to that.
Huge thank you.
Yeah, they'll probably be publishing YouTube videos or something. I don't know. They'll probably be starting their own podcast talking about how much they hate Trump for shutting down their career, basically. But guys, of course, the leftists are melting down about this. This one basement dweller had a lot of crap to talk, and we're going to go ahead and cook this man. Let me let you see what this fool had to say.
The government should be giving some news organizations money because the alternative is those news organizations getting money from the private market. NPR leans left, and I need people to understand it's just because leaning left is smarter. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know. Trump's people that like are Trump supporters are not smart. That's why they cut the Department of Education, because they're actively trying to not let you be smart. Like, they don't want intelligent people.
So this fool thinks that liberals are just smarter than Republicans, even though Charlie Kirk cooked the liberals so bad in debates they had to kill him for it. But that aside, guys, the Department of Education, this was a specific mention of this weirdo of how, well, the Republicans want to shut down the Department of Education because they don't want people being smarter. Guys, the reason why Trump wanted to shut down the Department of Education is because they're ineffective.
Since its creation in 1979 during the Carter administration, the Department of Ed has spent over $3 trillion taxpayer dollars without improving student achievement. Despite pure pupil spending having increased by more than 245% since the 1970s, math and reading scores are down in public schools. In fact, the most recent Nation's Report Card from 2024 showed that 13-year-olds' math scores are the lowest they've been in decades, and their reading scores are the lowest since testing began more than 30 years ago. It's clear that throwing more money at a broken system does not work.
Why do liberals feel like by having an ineffective government organization, you need to add more money to it just indefinitely? Well, the problem is we need more money. We need more money to launder and to put into our pockets and to enrich ourselves. Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio wasn't high enough, guys. She beat the entire S&P 500, but we need to invest more money into USAID, into the Department of Education. Guys, all of these things are scams. Anytime anyone says they want to increase taxes on you or the rich or anything that they're trying to do, the vast majority of the time is just a big scam. The Department of Education is no different. These people were funding through USAID massive gender ideology scams across the globe. And the Department of Education is no different. What do you think that they were funding? They were funding a bunch of nonsense as related to critical race theory and gender ideology, using federal tax dollars to do it. And the test scores were some of the lowest in the entire world.
And yesterday, Doge terminated contracts totaling nearly $1 billion, that's with a B. That includes $101 million worth in DEI training grants. Given how students in America have been underperforming over the past few years, is it crazy to suggest that maybe they should focus on ABCs rather than DEI? I mean, to me, that makes sense.
The NAEP scores that came out recently underscored the fact that America's schools are failing our children before our very eyes. And that's because they have focused all of their time, all of their money, and all of their spending on initiatives like DEI, like equity, like gender initiatives, keeping secrets from parents, keeping us at arm's length. And then, foreign funding coming in. There is a laundry list of problems.
Guys, does this sound like something that, be it the Department of Education, the PBS, these are things that tax dollars were going toward. At the end of the day, PBS was taxpayer funded. So was the Department of Education. Do you want your money going towards teaching literal children about DEI, about gender ideology? Hey, little boy, maybe you're a little girl. Like, you want to pay for that? And they're teaching them, hey, you might be a dude. Look what happened to this person with this ICE officer. Look at a lot of these protests, a lot of these crazy, woke, weirdo women that's gay. And then they want to keep pulling their car in front of police officers. And then this woman end up killed. This is what this type of stuff can lead to, guys. People jumping in front of cars, people trying to run people over with cars, people obsessed. And then you got this freaking dodo brain. This dude looks like a literal tub of lard and looks ugly as hell, sitting up here talking about, oh, man, the liberals are just smarter. Well, they certain as hell don't freaking look better because you look ugly as sin, but they also are stupid. This is just pure hubris talking from these people, guys. You cannot have the government, in general, even if they supported Republicans, in general, you really shouldn't have the government being responsible for the news, because at a certain point they're going to lean one way or another. So the government shouldn't be funding news organizations. The only exception I would have is if you're like an organization and you're like applying for grants and you get the grants for something fair and square. But there shouldn't be these massive programs where you basically have state sponsored propaganda. And what's hilarious about this is because places like CNN, CBS, ABC, and others have been forced to pay the Trump administration. They call that state-sponsored news just because he sued them, and he's suing them for things for defamation, and they're settling, which they don't have to do, by the way, but they do anyway. And they're trying to call them state-sponsored, but they have no problem with PBS being paid for in supporting radical left ideologies. People are crazy, guys. Whatever little skeletal form that PBS has taken is more than what they deserve at this point. But that's just my opinion, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm out. Big shout out to my members, Cyber Noodle, 655, Bella Scott, and Carpentier John. Could not do it without you.
If you want to watch left-wing propaganda, turn on MSNBC. But the taxpayers should not be forced to subsidize it.
No, 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 no!
You lose! Good day, sir!